On March 24, 2015, the world witnessed one of the most shocking aviation tragedies in history. A Germanwings Airbus, a 320 operating as Flight 9525, was hijacked by its own co-pilot and deliberately flown into the French Alps. This event resulted in the tragic loss of all 150 passengers and crew members on board. What started as a routine flight from Barcelona, Spain, to Düsseldorf, Germany, quickly turned into a horrifying sequence of events that would change aviation safety forever. Germanwings Flight 9525 took off from Barcelona at 9 o'clock in the morning, local time. The aircraft was under the command of Captain Patrick Sondheimer, a highly experienced German pilot with nearly 7,000 hours of flight experience, and First Officer Andreas Lubitz, a 27-year-old co-pilot with approximately 900 flight hours. During the initial climb, everything seemed normal. The flight ascended smoothly and reached its cruising altitude of 38,000 feet. Shortly after, the captain received clearance from air traffic control to proceed on their planned flight path. At this point, the aircraft left Spanish airspace and entered French airspace, where it was being monitored by the Marseille Control Center. The captain then informed the first officer that he needed to use the lavatory. "Captain, I'm going to the bathroom. Can you take over radio communications?" Lubitz confirmed, and the captain left the cockpit. However, unbeknownst to everyone on board, this moment marked the beginning of a catastrophe. As soon as the captain exited, Lubitz locked the cockpit door from the inside, preventing anyone from re-entering. He then adjusted the autopilot, setting the aircraft's altitude from 38,000 feet down to just 100 feet. This action initiated an immediate descent toward the French Alps. Marseille air traffic controllers quickly noticed that Flight 9525 was descending rapidly. They repeatedly tried to contact the aircraft air traffic controller. "Germanwings, Marseille Control Center, what cruise level were you cleared for?" There was no response. Air traffic controller. "Germanwings, please confirm your altitude." Still silence. The only thing controllers could hear through the radio was the steady breathing of the co-pilot, who remained completely unresponsive. Meanwhile, in the cabin, the captain returned from the lavatory and realized he was locked out of the cockpit. He frantically knocked on the door, demanding entry. "Captain, open the door! Open the door! Let me in!" His voice grew more desperate, but Lubitz did not respond. The crew and passengers began to realize something was terribly wrong. Panic spread throughout the cabin as the captain's pounding on the reinforced cockpit door grew louder. He even attempted to break the door open with an emergency axe, but the bulletproof structure made it impossible. As Flight 9525 continued its rapid descent, alarms began to sound in the cockpit. The aircraft's ground proximity warning system issued multiple alerts. "GPWS, terrain ahead, pull up." Lubitz, still silent, ignored the warnings. His breathing remained steady. Passengers screamed as they realized their fate was sealed. Meanwhile, French military jets were scrambled in an attempt to intercept the aircraft. However, the fighter pilots arrived too late. The plane was already too close to the mountains. At 10:41 a.m. local time, Germanwings Flight 9525 crashed into the rugged terrain of the French Alps at a speed of over 400 miles per hour. The impact was so severe that the aircraft was instantly obliterated, leaving no survivors. Within hours, rescue teams arrived at the crash site. Due to the remote location and steep cliffs, accessing the wreckage was extremely difficult. Most personnel had to be transported by helicopter. Among the debris, investigators recovered the cockpit voice recorder, also known as the black box. Upon analysis, they discovered the chilling truth. The co-pilot had deliberately crashed the plane. The recording revealed the captain's desperate attempts to re-enter the cockpit, the automated warnings blaring, and Lubitz's eerily calm, breathing up until the moment of impact. Authorities searched Lubitz's home and uncovered disturbing evidence. Medical records revealed that he had been suffering from severe depression and had a history of suicidal thoughts. In the days leading up to the crash, he had searched online for methods to commit suicide, ways to induce blindness, and information about cockpit security systems. Additionally, a torn-up doctor's note was found declaring him unfit to fly on the day of the accident, yet he had hidden this from his employer. The tragedy of Flight 9525 led to significant changes in aviation safety policies worldwide. Airlines implemented new rules requiring at least 2 crew members to be present in the cockpit at all times. If one pilot needed to leave, a flight attendant would temporarily occupy the seat to prevent unauthorized lockouts. Additionally, mental health evaluations for pilots were strengthened. Authorities recommended more rigorous psychological screening and ongoing mental health support programs for airline staff. Efforts were also made to improve communication between medical professionals and airlines to ensure that pilots with serious mental health conditions could receive appropriate treatment without endangering others. In the wake of the tragedy, memorial services were held across multiple countries. In the French Alps, families of the victims gathered to honor their loved ones. They released 150 balloons into the sky, one for each life lost. Captain Patrick Sondheimer was hailed as a hero for his valiant efforts to save the aircraft. His wife later established a foundation in his name dedicated to supporting children and young people dealing with grief and crisis. The Germanwings tragedy remains one of the most heartbreaking incidents in aviation history. It serves as a reminder of the importance of mental health awareness, the responsibilities of airlines to monitor their pilots' well-being, and the necessity of stringent safety measures in the aviation industry. The crash of Germanwings Flight 9525 was not an accident. It was an intentional act carried out by a disturbed individual. While the event itself is a painful memory, it has led to vital reforms that continue to shape airline safety today. By remembering the lives lost and learning from this tragedy, the aviation industry can strive to prevent similar incidents from ever happening again.